It's the Butch and Sundance Show.
All right, kids. So our friend Chris Bledsoe is back on the podcast circuit, this time on the Y-Files podcast. AJ Gentile, great show, the Y-Files. He's up to episode, I think, 4, and he had Chris Bledsoe on.
They get within 15, 20 feet of him, and there are these two little creatures that were glowing.
By the way, this is sped up because, as we all know, Chris Bledsoe talks insanely slow.
They could turn themselves up and glow brighter, or they could turn themselves down to where they looked almost translucent. And in a dark night, they looked just like almost black figures there.
I think this happened in Cape Fear. He's talking about a fishing trip that he went on with his boys. He was a contractor, he was a builder, and they went on a fishing trip. And that's kind of where all this started. He goes up a hill and he sees some orbs in the sky. This is the description of what he's saying these things look like.
That were red, that's what he was seeing.
It's like a humanoid shape?
Yeah, they look like humans.
Like
in a way, I have a picture I drew, painted. I'll show.
So, I mean,
sorry.
No.
Like,
what?
this is
What?
just really.
I mean, what?
You know, when
first of all, he's got no clothes on.
First of all, when he says,
we
I have
gotta
a
get
photo,
some clothes on this thing.
The best thing about it is he says he has a photo. And then,
No,
then
it's
he's
not
like,
a photo. He painted this.
Well,
That's
no,
not
I
a
know.
photo.
He says a
painted it.
photo, and then he says a picture I drew.
Oh, all right.
And then you see this, and it's like, I don't know, it's like a third grader drew.
Hey, look, come on. I mean, I've seen some of your artwork. It's not much better here. I mean, but, you know,
it's
this thing's
very
got
rudimentary.
He's got no clothes on. But here's the thing, though. This is supposed to be like religious experiences. They're trying to pin these things as like angels. But like, does that look like an angel to you?
It looks like a goblin.
It looks like a goblin. His eyes are red. This thing scared the hell out of him and his kid and all these. I think it was just him and his kid that ended up seeing this. We'll go into it.
Yeah.
2009. And so anyhow, I don't know what to think. My son's crying. He's upset. He's seeing creatures.
Creatures. His son's crying and he's seen creatures.
Yeah, that's a good,
Okay.
You know, think about
Not
that
an
choice
angel.
of words now. I want us
Not-
to think about the choice of words, right?
Not- Exactly. Not
Creatures.
Archangel Michael with wings and battle gear and ready to
Yeah.
go into
Yeah.
battle. No, I saw a creature. Okay.
They're freaked out. These guys are grown men, right? Tough country boys that don't get afraid in the woods. And now they're very quiet.
So that's like the same thing with
Well-
the Travis Walton situation, right? You had these
Yeah.
tough, what do you call those guys that chop
Yeah.
the trees down? Lumberjacks,
Yeah.
right? So it was a crew of lumberjacks,
Yeah.
same thing in the woods, right? I guess these things like these remote areas. The same thing, tough guys. And then we all know what happened with Travis. He gets sucked up into the ship. Next thing you know, they're taking lie detector tests. They thought that they whacked this guy, Travis,
And Bledsoe took a lie detector test at some point
and failed.
and failed.
Let's see what else he says.
Flying around and doing it. It's almost like somebody choreographed it.
And they just appear out of the sky, just
all of a sudden,
materialize.
Yeah, just materialized above us. They were
So this is the
Yeah.
thing that he does, right? He has these dinner parties at his house and he gets everybody to come outside and he summons these things.
At the latest, I guess, summoning event, he had Sammy Hagar. He had our friend Margot Robbie.
And
there's a video
Margot
going-
Robbie
there-
were at Chris Bledsoe's house?
Well, separately, Robbie was different. That was a separate time. Sammy Hagar was most recently there, and they got a video of him and him and Bledsoe.
What did they do? They watched the orbs?
He called the orbs. The video is before they're about to do it, and he's hugging them, and it's funny.
Let's stay on the description of what these things look like.
painted it, and it was glowing white. And
Not 3 feet, 3.5 feet.
3 feet, no more than 3 probably. And it was glowing white, and it had what looked like a triangle on its chest.
This whole thing screams of Egyptian something. And
Yeah.
we'll get to that because when he talks about this lady that travels in the orb that comes
Right.
down, like, I don't know if she said I'm Hathor or he equated her to Hathor. And then Gentile comes in and explains that Hathor is some Egyptian goddess.
It was
Right.
triangle shape, and it had red glowing eyes about this big around. And
They're
Yeah.
constantly trying to draw these parallels between biblical stories and this gentleman's experience. I don't know about that. Red eyes, 3 feet tall beings. I don't remember reading anything like that in the Bible. Do you?
No, and I think that what happens is, Ribberger, the infamous or famous exorcist, these demons, what they do, or demons in general, they'll take different things, and they'll take things that people can recognize as biblical and mix them in with other
Absolutely,
religious
right?
elements,
And other religious elements like
Egyptian-
healing or
right?
Because
Which is what the New Age does.
of
Right.
colitis and look, we don't know what we don't know. This man clearly experienced something.
round, perfectly round, glowing eyes, and it scared me bad when I saw it. I'm like, oh my god!
There's a guy, his name's Danny Sheehan, okay? I guess he's a congressional lawyer, and he's working with Congress on UFO and UAP disclosure. It's saying that Sheehan stated that government insiders, suspect the small gray beings, similar to the beings our friend Bledsoe just described, are not a naturally evolved species at all, but a genetically engineered biological entity created by a super artificial intelligence. That super artificial intelligence, use your imagination, what that could be.
That's a bold statement. Does he give any evidence or any explanation beyond that?
When asked what authority had sent it, the being reportedly said, "You people would call it God, but it's a lot different than that." Little by little, you're getting disclosure. And within that disclosure, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to look to these things, whatever they are, like gods. Even Chris Bledsoe's book is called UFO of God. So they're equating these things as being some kind of form of godliness. I just think you got to be careful with that.
Rosie's barking.
I'm very quick. I'm facing this 3-foot thing that's glowing. I'm panicked that I'm going to die. I thought it was going to kill me. And I said,
that doesn't sound like a peaceful angelic experience.
Well, look, to be fair, and I think that historically and in the Bible, when people have encountered angels, they have been scared. They've fallen down to their knees. This part, to me, it sounds like this could be an angel. If you go by what he's saying here, right? Biblically, this holds up at what he's saying here. Scared, fell down.
Went up the hill to see these things. Moses go up on a hill to communicate with God, and it was up on that hill that these things started happening to him. So there's a lot of parallels.
Said, "You don't understand. We're here to help you, not hurt you." This is exactly what it said. And then the dog comes out.
Which is exactly what the angels say in the Bible. They say, "Do not be afraid," right?
Right. But Ripperger just explicitly said the demons also say that when they come in the form of these grays, he said that they manifest and they take the form of the grays and they say, "We're here to help humanity. We're not here to hurt you.
We're here to help raise your vibrations so you can become more psychic." They go into
this.
Now, Gentile, friend of the show, Gentile, listen, it's a new podcast. He didn't want it to be like a gotcha type episode, but it was kind of a puff piece. He let the guy talk. He didn't really push back.
Speaker, you heard this in your mind.
I heard it in my mind, loud. Sounded like a man's voice, deep, thunderous, loud. That's one of the few times I ever heard an audible voice. You don't hear.
That's weird. Also the way the voice of God is described in the Bible, which is like thunder.
When I raised the blinds, the floodlights on that corner was illuminating this 7-foot tall being that was walking towards me.
7 foot. So, but the first time they were 3.5 feet.
Right. That's right.
So is this their older brother or sister?
That looked like
the being on the crabwood crop circle.
It's also a humanoid.
Yeah, a very tall, skinny thing, and it was scary looking.
So, just like the Vegas UFO demon sighting, right? In the backyard with his family, tall and scary looking.
Yeah.
Same description.
I grabbed.
So this is the part that's interesting too, right? They talk about Devil's Den.
I've heard of Devil's Den, yeah.
It's almost the same creatures.
Really?
It's small creatures with red eyes and a very large being with them.
Wow. I never knew.
And they're hanging out at a place called Devil's Den.
Yeah.
They're not hanging out in a place called Archangel's Corner. No, it's the Devil's Den. I mean, come on.
He takes his son and they drive away. They go to a place that they feel safe until the morning. Like with encounters with angels in the Bible, at first people are scared, but then the angel gives them comfort and says, "Don't be afraid."
Peace. Right.
So
that's not happening here.
Didn't happen here.
They ran away.
He's still,
he's running for the hills.
Right.
He's going.
So that's an indication
he's going to Motel 6.
Maybe
they're walking around the forest and they're picking objects and surveying.
It was on its knees, picking up bottles and cans and sticks, and it would look at them and put them on the ground.
That's odd. I mean, aliens need they need the 5-cent deposit that on
that behavior does not sound very angelic.
No,
playing with
I don't understand
bottles and sticks and cans, and
the one was staring at him the whole time. And he said he couldn't scream, he couldn't yell, he felt frozen. When it looked at him, he had absolutely no control over his talk.
So that sounds like sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis is the precursor to an abduction experience.
That's right.
They feel as they experience sleep paralysis.
The church condemned it as the devil.
So he's from the Bible Belt, comes from a religious family, has about 300 cousins. The Bledsoe's apparently been in this country for, what do you say, 300 years?
Yeah, yeah. Since the 1700s, I think he said.
Since the 1700s.
Yeah, so that's pretty
a long time.
That's
So
pretty
he's got a
long.
big family, and like you're coming out and you're talking to people about this experience. And, you know, the first thing, if you're Catholic, if you're a Christian, or really most religions, a lot of times would immediately identify what you're saying as having had a demonic experience. And I think that's what his church did.
How did the church find out?
In the Bible Belt, right? Sure. So the whole community.
Did she tell them because she was worried?
He's like, why would she tell them that? I mean, why would she tell them? You know how they're going to react.
I mean, I think if
Yes,
your husband takes your son, drives far away to the middle of nowhere until the sun comes up because you're scared, it seems pretty serious.
She's got to tell somebody.
Children. And I'm like Dustin Hoffman all of a sudden.
With the mashed potatoes?
Yeah, I was just like that. And I still am.
All right, so obviously they're making an incorrect reference to Richard Dreyfuss from the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Spielberg movie. Check out the Spielberg video we just did talking about his new movie, Disclosure Day. Please like and subscribe, by the way, guys. If you're into the stuff that we're been putting out, please like and subscribe. It does make a huge difference getting these videos out.
And when she calls her family and my family and all that, then it turns into, it was a demonic experience. You play.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say for argument's sake, it was a demonic experience. Why this guy?
That's a good question.
Our friend Bledsoe, unfortunately, tells of an experience of what happened to, I guess this would have been his first wife.
So I left and started back to the road. And that's where I tripped over her, laying in the shade. Myself with that all those years, like I could have, that I was part of it, and but I wasn't.
There was some accident that left his wife, unfortunately, dead on the floor, and he tripped over her. A very traumatic experience.
I don't think he specified it, but I got the impression that it was some kind of, that it wasn't a natural death.
Where we're going with this, guys, is Sean Ryan had Father Chad Ripperger on his show. He's the world's renowned exorcist priest for the Catholic Church. He's done hundreds of exorcisms. They talk about demonic activity. It's a really good interview. We did a video on that as well. You could check it out. Talks about how demonic activity starts with people.
It starts with people, also in places, not necessarily just people, but can indwell in places. And that's
because somebody has done something particularly evil in a location, and as a result, the demons have gotten their foot in the door there.
I guess the death of his first wife happened in this location, very near to where the this activity is happening.
Right.
That's
the
these
point.
orbs, these experiences that he's having with his son and other people. We saw him say he never forgave himself, even though it wasn't his fault. He had nothing to do with it.
Right. And what was the message that these things said to him was like, oh, you got to forgive yourself. Well, how'd they know that? How did they know?
Right. And then he
You
goes
know I
on
gotta
to,
forgive
right.
myself.
He goes on to say that they helped him let go of that
That's right.
pain.
Half down from where we were, we go through that curve. There's this big, huge thing hovering right over where she was killed.
Right over.
Right over it.
I mean,
Right over
it's pretty clear. There's a connection there. There's definitely a connection with her death, unfortunately, and these things, right? Or at least how he's explaining it.
And a connection between what Exorcist Priest says about how these things get started and how they get a foothold in your life.
And it said, you have to forgive yourself. She's fine. Don't worry about this any longer. And so that was the first time in 25 years.
So like if this happened to you, you know, and you went through this traumatic experience, right? And then you had these, whatever you want to call them, let's just call them higher beings for now, telling you something that you want to hear, right? You want to move on. You want that comfort. Something like this would help you think that these beings are here for your own benefit, whether or not that was intentional.
Well,
So
he is benefiting, right?
So all
Because
that together,
he doesn't
over the
have
next
that
couple of
pain.
years, it's not of God. It's got to be evil,
How did you know it wasn't?
because it healed me. And it told me I'm here to help you, not hurt you.
Okay.
And I struggled with what all that.
Just like
who was
Father
I know if I-
Ripperger said, that when they come, they say, we're here to help you. Make
And
your
here
life
to help
better.
humanity.
Right.
That's right.
Take the place of,
an
like
alien
Ripperger said, take the
didn't
place of
act like
Jesus.
one, and
Right.
So I started researching the Bible, and I learned that these chariots of fire. Immediately, it started making sense. So
Again, another comparison to the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
furthered
Because
my
he's a
research into
Christian.
meeting Dr. Diana Pasolka and Dr.
He's
George
trying to
Zervos
find
and a whole lot of other
validation
religious scholars
through his faith as a Christian and a
That's right.
Catholic.
throughout the
Could be.
Bible. Mark, Matthew, Luke, Revelations, and even in Exodus, there is something called the clouds of heaven. This will be in my next book, by the way.
Oh, little Little
See,
plug
it's
there
funny.
for the book drop.
Even before
That means
he's-
there's more than one book. I'm just
look,
saying.
even before he said this would be in my next book, I didn't get the connection he was making to his clouds and
Well,
relating
we
to
could-
these
we
orbs.
could
I didn't
see
get
what
that.
else he's got. Let's
Yeah.
see what else he's got.
That, Diana. And she said, well, these clouds, Exodus, it says, and an angel of the Lord went before the children of Israel for 38 years in a pillar of a cloud.
Yeah, but they didn't have red eyes.
They camped
Yeah.
underneath it.
This
It
is a
says, and then-
stretch.
and gave
It's a
them,
huge stretch. It's a huge stretch.
Equating these orbs to the manna that was given to the Israelites.
And
Are you still welcome in church?
well, yeah, no.
How could you be technically?
Look,
right?
I
They're not
mean,
going
if
to.
I-
They're not going to embrace
I
the
had
story.
That's
completely stopped talking about
unfortunate.
this
You
if I
have
ever-
saint-like events that the church doesn't recognize that are a lot closer to the Bible than what we're seeing here.
be involved in the church anymore. And I'm like, sorry, I am having church. To me, it is church. It's not.
So it
Pull
sounds
him
like
away from his faith.
that's a successful story.
Maybe from their point of view.
If you're saying, or if you believe that these things are demons masquerading as aliens, that
Right.
sounds like a
Pull you away from the faith
yeah.
into this kind of new age. The whole thing reeks of a new age movement.
And I don't know what happened. How they were able to control our movements and what we do. Maybe they could turn. But I got up, fully dressed, and I'm heading outside.
I mean, this is
That's
where it gets
concerning.
weird. They say like they gave him a gerbil. I mean, this is gets nuts.
Well, this
man.
sounds to
This
me
gets-
like an abduction.
yeah. I mean,
I
kind
mean,
of.
he's describing
I mean,
what
kind
people
of.
say, like, right? Like they don't know how they got there, fully dressed. Like this is some kind of like outer body experience, abduction.
Yeah, at
This is
3
what he's
a.m.,
describing
which
to
is
me.
the bewitching hour, right?
Right.
Then he goes on and we talk about the lady, and the lady is the one that travels around in this bubble and gives him these predictions of what's going to happen, and actually showed him the future.
I asked who she was, and she said she had many names. That she was called Hathor in Egypt, and that resonated with me because the first thing it showed me was Egypt.
I mean, is that a red flag? Like,
That's
is
a
this some
red flag.
Egyptian
First of all,
Thoth prophecy? What's that
First-
guy's name? Billy? Not Billy. Who's the guy that debated him?
Wes Huff.
Wes Huff debated Billy. What's his name? Billy. He talks about the tablets of Thoth and
Billy.
Billy. Can we be friends again?
Right.
You gotta,
but,
if you guys haven't seen that, you got to check out that altercation between those two during the podcast, which was kind of funny.
Hathor carved in the temples, and it's like cow ears and stuff.
Yes.
And so immediately that resonated. But she said,
Yeah, I don't know about hearing anything about Hathor in the Bible.
Egypt, and then go by many names. I think in
so
the
many
Bible,
names, Kevin.
every
moving.
time an angel appeared, they would. Well, I don't want to say they named themselves every time, but they definitely didn't
They
say
identified
we go
themselves.
by any
Yeah.
name, many names.
But they also wouldn't allow themselves to be worshipped.
she
Call
had many
us.
names in many countries, many cultures, from Diana to Demeter to Hera to.
Oh,
Lakshmi.
Could it be Mary? Could it be?
Well, I suppose it could be, but in my research, I know that the word spirit, the definition of a spirit, nobody really understands that, but it's the wind.
is it the wind? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if
It's windy right
exactly
now.
The
I don't-
definition of the spirit, but look,
Listen, I hope he's selling a lot of books.
he flat out denied could it be Mary. All right, he was basically
Yeah.
well, it could be, but I don't think it is. And
Right.
because AJ was like kind of trying to give him a little
Little nudge to
yeah
get Catholicism back into the equation,
yeah.
right? He didn't take the bait.
Right? And the word Holy Spirit is the breath of God. Well, that most impactful thing to me was not only seeing and hearing, but the wind that pushed me over.
So then he goes into right. He gets taken on this,
Before you go there,
yeah,
the wind that pushed him over, right? When he saw these things,
yeah.
what happens? What's a known symptom of these ghost hunters or these spirit when people go into places that have spirits, negative spirits? What's the one thing they always say about the way the atmosphere feels?
Cold draft.
Yes, wind, like
Physically, it frightened me. It hit me so hard. You know what I mean? So here's
Strong wind.
this force
Strong
that came
one.
at me, only to reveal itself as the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. So I
Hey,
went
now.
from extreme fear.
It's not a
Am
bad
I
thing.
looking
it's
at,
convenient.
Well, I mean, you're gonna show up in an orb. You're not gonna show up as someone who's not.
I know
attractive.
Ribberger said that these demons have been around us since the beginning.
Right. So they
And
know.
They know all your little piccadillies and things that you like. And if you like the beautiful
what kind
women.
of chick you like blondes, you like, what do you want in the orb?
Hey, you know what I'm reminded of?
Tailor-made to him, for him.
You know what I'm
Tailor-made.
reminded of, Sundance? The Robin Williams movie, What Dreams May Come. Now, if you remember, and that's not a biblical movie by any stretch, but in that movie, he had his son and his daughter appear to him as different people, as they were spirits in, like,
Yes.
I guess in heaven or in the spiritual realm, and they appeared to him differently. They appeared to him that would be to his liking, right? So like the demons do appear to you as something that would attract you. They're not going to appear to you as something that you don't like.
Why would they? Especially if they're trying to sell you a bill of goods.
And she's allowed me to share her presence or the orbs with everyone.
Yes, she has.
We're having orb parties. Some people have Tupperware parties. We have orb parties at the
Sammy
Bledsoe
Hagar.
house.
All those
Margot
men that were on
Robbie.
that
Why
trip
didn't we
with you,
get
that
that
fishing trip
invite?
and all.
When did that happen with Robbie? Because I
few
wish we knew
months.
about that when we did meet her.
I
I
don't
would have asked
know.
her about that.
I don't know if she. Yeah,
You know? What were those orbs like?
I think orb sightings in your presence are now numbering in the thousands.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people have seen them.
Yep, thousands.
Well, that's the big thing, and that's the part that he really recruits people to his cause, because there is proof. I mean, there's a lot of videos
yeah.
that you can see where he'll say, okay, pop in, and they pop up another dimension. There's orbs. What those orbs are, nobody knows. Nobody's denying that this man went through some really, really crazy experience. You want to think through what it could be, what he says is coming, and the future events that this beautiful, divine, feminine Diana in the bubble told him what was going to happen. She showed him the future. He went up in the bubble and he went over, I think it was Egypt, did a little flyby over the pyramids.
That's when we're going to come in and we're going to start waking up the population.
Yeah, we're going to save you.
So,
we're going to save humanity.
Ripperger said
God's not going to save you. We're going to save you.
We're going to save you.
Bubble
and
people.
he also said that they put thoughts in your mind, right? So he's saying that the woman, Diana, would telepathically put these visions in his mind, right? And that's what the demons do when people are possessed or when there's possession scenarios.
They drive you crazy.
We're going to reveal ourselves, which will change the consciousness of people. So all this new knowledge is about disclosure.
Turns us into psychic beings and gives us powers, right? So they're trying to sell this narrative that when these things step in, you're going to turn into a superhuman. You have psychic ability. Who doesn't want psychic ability? Most people sign right up for that, right?
That's the new
Everybody
age
wants that
mantra, right? Isn't that the new age? You are God.
You become
your own God.
That's right. That's right.
One thing is clear: all this stuff that he's saying, whether you believe him or not, whether you think it's biblical, angelic, demonic, alien, whatever you think it is, there's a clear connection with what he's experiencing and the government disclosure that's about to happen.
Could communicate with orbs or remote view.
And we all can.
And maybe that's the awakening that you've been told about by the lady.
I think that's it. 100%. I believe the disclosure is happening.
So they're promoting people to try and communicate with these things. They want you to try and push for this awakening.
At the time, begin to realize, oh my God, it's real. Then you start awakening and you can develop these powers. And it's happening with Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell.
You can have these powers. So you could be like me. There's a lot here. There's a narrative that tries to follow biblical stories and motifs, and it's really hard to make these connections. Everything to me about this guy's story, which I do not doubt happened. I believe that something happened to this guy. I don't believe that he knows what it is. And I think he's struggling internally to equate it with something that's good and holy based on his upbringing. But I don't see the evidence here, right? I'm seeing this as something that is contrary to his upbringing, contrary to the Bible. It's exactly what the Bible teaches you to stay away from.
Yeah. And we mentioned earlier that he did fail a lie detector test.
Look, a really interesting interview. We're huge fans of the Y-Files. We love Gentile, Jersey guy. But what do you guys think? You guys believe Bledsoe? Do you think these aliens or whatever these things are here to save humanity and make you psychic and give you little bubble rides around Egypt? Or do you think that there's something more demonic, something darker here, or, big deception? If you want to talk about what's in the Bible talks heavily about deception in the end times. But what do you guys think? Drop a comment. Let us know. If
And
you like what we
please,
do,
yeah,
please subscribe.
it makes a difference.
Makes
It really
a
does.
huge
We love you
difference.
guys.
It's the Butch and Sundance Show